Welcome back to Unapologetically Unfiltered, the podcast where we tell the stories we probably shouldn't, but definitely will. This week, we're crossing borders and diving straight into Georgia's international dating adventures, the LA edition. We're talking cultural differences, why American men are a whole different species, and unpacking one of Georgia's funniest and possibly most chaotic dating stories to date. It involves a very white, fluffy cat, a handful of gummies, and a soundtrack by The Weeknd. Buckle up because this episode is proof that what happens in LA does not stay in LA.
This is the LA episode. Welcome back to Unapologetically Unfiltered. I'm Jess.
And I'm Georgia.
This episode, we're going to focus a little bit more on dating internationally because obviously that's a very common theme for the two of us.
Yep.
But we're going to talk specifically about dating in LA, which Georgia is quite fond of.
Yes.
So it's all over to her. Georgia, tell me, I've been to LA once, but I haven't done a significant amount of dating in LA. What appealed to you about dating in LA or I guess the men in LA versus Australia?
So I found with dating in LA that the men were gentlemen from the get-go.
Okay.
So from straight up, and it was even, you know, when you'd be chatting to them first up, they would say, okay, like I want to take you out for dinner. There would be that initial conversation and they would get to the point quite quickly. They wouldn't drag on organising a date at all.
Yep.
So whereas men in Australia, I found they wanted to pen pal and talk for like weeks on end.
Americans tend to be quite upfront anyway, right?
I think Americans are great communicators, and I think that's what really drew me to dating in America. Mm-hmm. And also, like, there is a bigger population than Australia, so
that's very, very true.
yes, there's
a lot bigger population.
Yeah, it's a really big population. I found that the men were really great communicators, that they organised the date quite quickly. They were gentlemen from little things like they would get out of the car and open the car door for you.
Yeah.
Like, when do you ever see that in Australia?
Once in Melbourne, once.
Yeah. Not only the car door, but also if, you know, when I'm in the hotel, the lift door, they will wait until all the women actually walk into the lift and then they will walk in.
Do they do the thing where if you walk into a restaurant or if you get up from your seat in a restaurant to go to the bathroom, do they stand up?
Yes, they do.
Fuck,
they
I've only
stand
seen this
up.
in movies.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so it's that old school kind of charm.
It is that old school charm, chivalry at its finest over there.
So that's the biggest difference then that you see in dating between LA or America and dating in Australia is that big chivalry gap.
Yes, and there was also with my job, I found when I was talking to men in Australia about what I do, they were like, okay, you're just a flight attendant. Whereas when I went over to America, they were like, oh my God, like they thought it was the best thing since sliced bread.
That's bizarre to me because Australians love travel.
Yes, I know. It was really strange, but like they just seem to love my job over there, and they love Australians too. May I add.
Yes,
they love the Australian accent. I think we are a bit different to American women as well in how we kind of do things. Like Australians, we're like a bit quieter.
Well, Australians are typically quite laid back.
Yes, more easygoing. So I think that's what really drew me to America was seeing all these traits in these men. They were gentlemen. They would send Ubers to pick me up for dinner dates. So I once had a guy who I was chatting to. He sent me an Uber to pick me up. He took me to like a beautiful restaurant in Laguna Beach. We had dinner. As soon as I walked into the restaurant, he stood up and he's like, he was just waiting there. He hadn't even ordered anything because like he wanted to wait for me. Sat down. He's like, do you have any dietary requirements? And like, without me even looking. This is another big thing too. They pay the bill.
Without you.
There is none of
Yeah.
this 50-50 bullshit. I'm sorry.
I've never even had a man send an Uber for me. Maybe a Gojek. I don't even think a Gojek.
Same. But yeah, like they will grab the bill without you even looking at it, you know, and then after that, like send you in like another Uber home. Whereas I feel like dating in Australia, you know, quite a few of the dates that I went on, the men were like, 50-50. And I was like, wow.
Well, you're never going to see me again, sweetie.
You are never going to see me. Like, may I add how much money women spend on getting ready for dates? Mm-hmm. So, okay, clothing, transport,
Nails.
makeup, nails, gym, Pilates,
Yeah.
like cosmetics.
We're
so
dropping
like
cash.
Botox, whatever you want to do. May I add all that money that is spent on that, and then the man wants you to pay like $50 or $100 for the date.
Do you think American men kind of like Australian women a little bit more because we're sort of a bit more, well, we're foreign? Like, a lot of Americans actually haven't been to Australia, which for Australians is quite weird because we travel a lot, but Americans are kind of like, oh my God, Australia, the land down under, I'd love to go there. Are there kangaroos in your backyard? Blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
yeah, they think we all ride kangaroos to school and like.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to lie, I do play on it sometimes. It's quite
As you
amusing.
should.
But yes, it is definitely, I feel like we are quite different to American women. The one thing I did want to bring up is that what I got told from a lot of American men, that American women expect an allowance.
Oh, I've been doing it wrong, sweetie.
I know, they actually expect an allowance.
Is this in USD?
Yes, this is in USD.
It's not
so
Monopoly money.
they expect an allowance, and that is quite initially from the first date. And a few of them said to me, I can't believe you have not asked me for an allowance. And I was like, allowance?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay, so with that, you know, these are some of the great things about dating in LA. What are the difficulties? Where were you challenged by it?
I was challenged by dating in America because men over there were confused with what I was looking for given the distance. So they didn't understand that I would actually move for love if that was, you know, something that we'd crossed over and we had to decide.
It feels like there'd be a little bit more ambiguity because it seems like American men are a little bit more chivalrous naturally. So they're used to doing these things for dates anyway. Mm-hmm. And then you're Australian.
Yes.
So you don't see that in Australia.
No.
So you look at that and you're like, oh, he must quite like me. So there'd be like, it'd be easy to get your wires crossed where they're doing exactly what they would do for anybody. For any kind of date.
Yeah, well, I had one guy who I went on a date with and he asked me, he said, I'm a bit confused because like, do you want to live here or do you want to like live in Australia or are you kind of looking for? And I was like, I'm looking for love. I'm looking in it. I'm not restricted to one country. So
men struggle with that because I think men struggle with that because men are the ones that are meant to be a little bit more static, a little bit more grounded, and women are the like flowy, feminine, you know, mysterious ones. Mm-hmm. The men kind of ground us. But what was your answer to that? Like, would you live in LA?
Yes, I definitely would have. I would move for love. Yes, absolutely. So, and I think for, a lot of men there, they couldn't get their head around that. They just couldn't. They were like, what? So you would move here? And quite a lot of crew actually do have partners in LA.
Yeah.
And quite a lot of crew have partners who have moved from LA to Australia. Right. So there's been
lots of crossover.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's kind of men having a little bit more rigidity around their thinking, and that men are a bit more pragmatic up front and women are a bit more romantic up front. So that's the kind of disconnect. It's like we both need to take a page out of each other's book, basically.
Absolutely.
So If you had to give someone advice about dating in LA, what would it be?
About dating in LA, I find, yes, even though the men are gentlemen, like they're great with the chivalry and showing up and all of that, they can also spin a lot of shit too.
Well, Americans, no disrespect, but they tend to be very good at spinning shit.
Yes, well, you know, they are great communicators, so they're great at talking shit up as well. So, yeah, that, you know, there'd be people like, oh, come on my boat and like, let's do this and that. Like, there is a lot of,
and there's a lot more money there, right?
Yes,
like,
there is. Yes,
and their dollar tanks our dollar.
Yeah, yeah. So I think for dating in LA, you really have to stick to your guns with what you want. And I think when you are meeting these people, you have to gauge actually like what they are looking for, because they will spin a lot of crap and be like, oh yes, you know, I'm looking for like this and that, but then their actions don't align with what they're saying.
Yeah, okay. So observation is key, per the usual. But it must be difficult as well if you're trying to observe their actions versus words if you're in and out of the country.
Yeah, so obviously me not being there all the time, you know, it is good and it's bad. So it's, you know, it's good because it creates a little bit of like that mystery and space in the relationship like we talked about. However, it's bad on the aspect that you're not seeing their full life for, you know, every day if you wanted to. So, you know, they could potentially be hiding things. So they could be hiding another relationship. They could be like, you know, they could have someone else on the side and also have you.
Yeah.
That is the hard thing. And, you know, you're not spending enough time. So like when I would get there, I'd be very tired.
Yeah.
And this would also sometimes cloud my judgment of people, because I'd be like, I'd be landing and then I'd be going out on a date and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
And you have one drink and you span it.
Yeah. And then I'd be like, oh my God, I didn't even get to ask what I really wanted to ask. Yeah. Like the next day when I'd finally caught up on sleep.
Yeah. And Americans tend to work quite hard and long hours, right?
They do, yes. Yeah,
okay,
they absolutely do.
They're all kind of interesting, I guess, things to consider. All right, tell us, we want to know, tell me about your best dating story in LA.
Oh, best dating story in LA, I would have to say was with someone that I did date there for a while. And he took me on a beautiful overnight to Malibu. And yes, it is like what you see in the movies. It's beautiful in Malibu. He took me to the Malibu Inn. And for you who don't know what that actually looks like, it's literally right on the beach in Malibu.
I feel like in Australia, if anything was called an inn, it would be like a motel on the side of the freeway.
So no,
not.
No, this is like over $1,000 a night.
Oh
so
my
it's
gosh.
not. It's definitely not a motel. Like
Okay.
it's a beautiful, beautiful hotel. And we stayed there and we had actually a really romantic dinner, and the waves were like crashing at the front of the restaurant. There was a beautiful orange, typical LA sunset.
Beautiful.
I'm just painting this picture for you. Yep. And then, we had a really great night, and, you know, he surprised me with that. So he planned all of that.
King energy.
Yeah. So that was really nice. And then, we just had a walk around Malibu the next day, and
beautiful.
It was definitely one to remember.
That's something that you see in the movies.
It certainly
is.
You hope for. That's what we all deserve, ladies.
And I selfishly just really want to hear the worst story. Tell me about the bin fire.
Oh God, there are a few, but
I feel like I could almost tell a few for you because I've heard a lot of them.
Because you've heard them on my voice notes. Okay, so I went on a date with a dentist in LA. And look, he actually video called me like the first time we exchanged details, and he was in his office, seemed super professional. He was actually very upfront with me, and he was like, look, like I'm a bit confused about your living situation. Like, are you living in LA or are you living in Australia?
Okay.
And I was like, I'm living in Australia. And he's like, look, would you move? And I said, yeah, I certainly would. And he's like, do you want to like settle down? Like his questions were quite direct and intentional, which I quite liked. And I was like, this is perfect.
Great.
You know, this is really great. Here we go. We organised this date, and he had taken me out for dinner. So we'd gone to a Mexican restaurant in LA.
Yep.
Yeah, near Rodeo Drive. He seemed super lovely. So we ordered some entrees and, some mains and, let's have a drink. So I noticed after one drink, he was like super pissed.
Okay.
And then he started getting like creepy fingers.
What do you mean?
Being like all over me and like wanting to kiss me and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, whoa, like we're just having dinner. Like
stroking you.
Yeah, like literally stroking
like
me.
I'm going to cut off your skin stroking you.
Yeah, like creepy fingers. Like,
oh my God.
What do they call that? The hand from the Addams Family.
Yeah. Okay, creepy fingers.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, he started doing, and I was like, whoa, like that's enough. So stopped that. We finished dinner. And then he's like, I'll drop my car off at my place and, then we can go for a drink from there. And I was like, okay, and we can get an Uber from there.
Okay.
Because he had his car. And I was like, okay, sure.
Okay.
So we went back to his place, which is not far from Rodeo Drive. And then he's like, oh, like, do you want to have a drink? And I was like, okay. So
we're meant to be going to a bar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now he's like totally changed the plans. And I was like, I'm thinking this one could be like quite a loose unit.
Well, isn't it just typical? Men are like, we'll go to a bar. I just need to drop my car. I just need to get a jacket. I need to drop my car off home. Neck minute. Let's have a drink here.
Neck minute. Anyway, he had this white fluffy cat. But she didn't
Bobo,
really.
Is that you?
She didn't really seem to like him. She was like running away from him. And I was like, and he's like, oh, come here, sweetie. He was chasing her and like she was running away to the kitchen. And it was like an apartment. And
so
I was like,
funny, you're like, has he broken into this home? And
I know.
The cat doesn't actually know him.
Mind you, he was like, I'm an established orthodontist, this and that. And his apartment just looked like one of those IKEA, like, the IKEA rooms on display when you go into IKEA. So it was a bit like, I was like, oh.
It's giving, like, bachelor, doesn't spend much time at home.
Yes, basically.
The cat.
Anyway, the cat had run away and he'd made me a drink. And then neck minute, I must say weed is legalized in America. So you can, unlike Australia, like you can purchase like weed everywhere. But, they have things like gummy, which is like a gelatin and it's THC in it. Some of them don't have THC. So yeah, basically everyone in America is like, a lot of people smoke weed over there. It was quite funny because at the restaurant, he had told me he was quite strict with his religion and he didn't eat shellfish.
Okay.
And then here he is. He pops out some gummies.
Shellfish, no shellfish, but some THC. Thanks.
Yeah. And so he's like, oh, do you want mine? I was like, no, I'm fine. Thank you. Like, I don't do that. Mm-hmm. And so then he goes and pops like a few gummies.
A few?
Yes, a few. And I was like, oh, so you...
Are they small? I don't know anything about gummies.
Yeah, they look like a gummy bear. So
okay.
They literally look like that. So he went and popped these gummy bears. Mind you, the cat was like...
I was going to say the cat probably doesn't like him because of this.
Yes, the cat knew what was coming.
Oh
I think.
What does he do to the cat when you're not there?
I don't know, but I was like, oh God, the cat like ran into the kitchen for shelter.
Trying to dig itself out of there.
Probably. I know. Poor thing. It was in a high rise. It couldn't get out.
Maybe he'd given the cat a gummy instead of a bicky one day.
I don't know what he was giving that cat. Anyway, so then he starts putting on The Weekend. And oh my God, like he turned into an absolute loose unit. And what I mean by like, oh my, he was absolutely off his tits, like dancing around in the living room. And then he grabbed the cat and was like cuddling the cat. Dancing around the lounger, and I'm like, put the cat down.
No,
like, oh my
the cat fucking hates
the
him.
poor cat. Anyway, like
Poor pussy.
and then he's like, just dance with me. And then he'd flick from The Weekend to like some like Spanish music. And then he was like, let's salsa. And like, it was
I'm imagining him like writhing against the wall to The Weekend with the cat.
He literally was such a loose unit. I was like, oh my God, I need to get myself out of this situation. This has gone from like bad to worse. He was just an absolute loose unit, like dancing around the apartment.
But also amusing.
It was quite like, I actually thought, I just need some popcorn to like watch this show.
But annoying because you went back to his house under the idea that you were going to a bar for a drink.
Yeah, so pretty much I told him to order me an Uber and he's like, oh, like what, just stay with me and have a gummy. And I was like, no, sweetie, there's not going to happen.
Was it during the week?
It was midweek, yes.
Oh my God,
yes.
what a loose unit.
Yeah, he was like, he was running his hands through his hair and then he was sweating and like.
There's probably some fucked up teeth going around because of that loose unit.
I know. I was like, I don't think I'd trust him to be my dentist. But anyway, so yeah, that was probably my worst date ever in LA. Yeah.
And where do you stand now on dating in LA? Like, where are you at with it?
I am not dating in LA anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not dating in LA anymore, and that is because I have met someone in Australia who I'm dating. Drum roll.
Amazing.
Yes.
But also I think you kind of, I mean, not to minimize that, that's very important, but also I think you kind of were realizing that the American men couldn't get on board with the distance and it would just take so long to get to where.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't think that they really could get on board with it. I don't think they could wrap their head around it. But like in saying that, you know, some of my friends are in great relationships over there.
Yep.
And I think I could wrap my head around it, but I actually don't think they could.
Yeah. And I mean,
so
you have to have two people.
Yeah.
To dance, to do the dance, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And you have to have two people who are willing and who are wanting to put in the effort and who are wanting to do the distance and who can see an end goal. And again, if they cannot see that end goal, it's not going to work.
Well, that's a fucking shame for American men, isn't it? And as we said in the previous episodes, thank God Australia gets to keep you.
Yeah.
Now that comment is fucking relevant.
Australia does get to keep me for a little bit longer.
Selfishly, I'm very happy, but I would have gone to LA. Well, that wraps up LA, the LA dating files.
It does wrap up the LA
Sounds like we're wrapping
files.
up the LA dating files for a while too. It sounds quite serious.
And now I want to get on to the Bali dating files.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well, I feel like we need that little Gojek noise in.
Oh, we do. Or a cock.
Yeah.
That's it.